Hello, everybody, and welcome in. I'm WCA3 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty. Thanks for popping in here as we do a little winter storm update. I'm sure by now you've heard that yet again another winter storm is about to bear down on parts of central Illinois. But this one could have varying impacts across the area. This one is very different from the storm system we had on Groundhog's Day, okay? That one had a lot of snow and it was pretty much all snow. This one will have ice and sleet that will impact snow totals here, but still major impacts because when the snow and the freezing rain and some of the sleet's coming down, it's going to be coming down at a really good clip. So over the next kind of half an hour, we're going to break down exactly what the storm system is doing. We're going to talk about snowfall amounts, how the amounts are going to vary widely, even across just one county. And you're going to want to see that map there because it shows just how different things could be from one part of, say, Champaign County to another part of Champaign County. I will be taking a look at your guys' chat that's up here. So the chat here that you can see, we're going to see those new comments that are displayed there. You can check it out, and we will be chatting with you guys as well. So keep the comments coming. Let us know where you're at here, and we will be chatting with you as well. So let's talk a little bit about what to expect here with our timing and impacts here with our system. So what we've got here tonight is a big heavy rain event, and we're actually going to be watching the radar, and I'm going to check it here in a second. Are we seeing lightning? Are we getting some lightning out there yet? Are we going to see some thunderstorms, severe weather just to our south? We've got the heavy rainfall after 8 o'clock here tonight, okay? 7 a.m. to about noon tomorrow, that's when the transition is going to start to take place to some freezing rain into some sleet as the next wave kind of moves in. I think there are going to be some very high impacts in that noon to 6 p.m. Time frame there. And things are actually going to wrap up pretty quick tomorrow evening. The storm exits the area by midnight tomorrow night. But again, depending upon where you're watching us from, you will see huge differences from, say, your friends maybe just 30 or 40 miles away. So over the next half an hour, I'm going to try to go through a lot of that and explain what to expect here. Okay, first off, why don't we take a look at what's happening here tonight with the radar and where we've got storms at this time. Well, I wouldn't say storms just yet because I haven't seen any lightning, but we're going to check it here in just a moment and just kind of see how things are playing out. But we've got definitely some rain. So let's look at the storm tracker Doppler, and we're already seeing rain into Ford and Iroquois counties there. McLean County seeing some heavier pockets. We look kind of back out to the south and west here, and just a stream of moisture that's going to be coming in here. Again, as I switch on our lightning here, I'm not seeing any of those lightning strikes showing up. But just look what the radar is going to potentially look like here at, say, 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight. And notice some of these heavier bands of rain, really heavy rainfall here. And if you get underneath one of those little bands, that's when you're going to get rainfall amounts, a couple of inches of rainfall when the system is all undone. And that is why we're concerned about a little bit of flooding here. But then look what happens tomorrow morning. There's your transition. We're going to get to that here in a second. But let's look at the flood watch that's in effect here tonight and just how much rainfall we're expecting. There could be some 2.5-inch rainfall amounts if you're down in Cumberland County, if you're down in portions of Coles County, Edgar County, Clark County. So you're talking Casey, you're talking down near Charleston, you're talking down near Toledo, Shelbyville, Effingham. High rainfall amounts there. A little bit lower amounts, but still you're talking 1.5 inches, maybe as far north as Lincoln, close to Bloomington and Watseka. So that's the rain part of things. Now, of course, I know so many of you tuning in here want to know more about this winter storm and how it's going to play out, but I don't want to downplay the fact that, hey, we've had a ton of melting of snow. We've got a lot of rain out there tonight, and the ground is frozen. That rain is not going to seep down into the ground because the ground's frozen. So a lot of that just kind of runs off, just literally falls downhill and goes into the rivers, creeks, and streams, and those go up, okay, even more quick than they would in the spring and summer because, again, a lot of that would drain down into the ground, but the ground's still very frozen. So we're going to be watching that, okay? All right, winter storm warning. There it was, okay? This is the time frame where things get interesting is tomorrow. Here's the huge question. How much of this is going to be sleet? That is the million-dollar question. Sleet will really lower the totals. And I've seen this happen a lot of times in my career. A lot of the models they spit out some really high amounts of snow, and then you are kind of underwhelmed when the final tally is done, because a lot of it can fall in the form of sleet, which really, like measuring sleet, I mean, that stuff gets packed down and it's way different than snow. So sleet will play a big factor into just how much snow that we're going to get. But that is the question. How much of that layer, that deep layer of cold air, is going to be there? And how long is the freezing rain going to be there? So that's what we are still, even, we're 12 hours from this really kind of kicking off, and there's still a little bit of uncertainty, and that oftentimes is the case. But notice areas here near I-70. It's 10 a.m. and it's still raining. Don't expect a lot in the way of snow and whatnot down in, say, Clark County and Cumberland, Effingham counties there, because you're going to see more rain and definitely that sleet longer. The $1 million question, the area I think that could be the most uncertain, you're talking Danville to Champaign, right along that I-72 corridor, because if we stay in the sleet and freezing rain longer, you're going to have the lower amounts of snow at the end. But whenever that switchover occurs, and a lot of our models here show that as you get north of I-74 and I-72, by noon, we start to see that switchover. Is this still sleet, though? That's the question. If it's still sleet, again, lower totals. But if this is snow, and at these rates, you're talking about 1 to 2 inches of snow per hour. That is what will add up. You only need 4 hours of snow at an inch, let's say inch and a half, and guess what? You're at 6 inches there pretty easy, okay? So that's why we think that it is possible for us to still reach some of those totals if we stay in this. So that's 1 o'clock, okay? We maybe get a little bit of a dry spot that tries to work its way in, but then we get this last little wave that kicks through the evening hours before it wraps up. I mean, it's gone. I mean, the snow is gone. You may be able to look up and see the moon tomorrow night at midnight as even the clouds clear. But then it gets really, really cold after that. So, ice and snow, how much are we talking here? So I think that 1/10 of an inch of ice, 2/10 of an inch of ice, that is possible. Exactly where this lands is up in there. Trying to forecast that ice is so difficult because of so many different factors here. But it's definitely feasible in kind of a Vermilion, parts of Champaign, Douglas, Moultrie, Shelby counties here, that, we get 2/10 of an inch of ice. Now, I know what you're saying. Is that going to cause power outages? Okay. I actually don't think we're going to have too many issues. I think you got to get kind of above 1/4 of an inch, a 1/2 inch of ice, then you start to having some issues. This is just going to cause more issues on the roads, slick conditions for you, and then you put a layer of ice underneath, and then you throw some snow on top of it. Ugh, that could be an issue on roadways for sure. So, yes, ice, freezing rain, it's definitely going to be out there for a period of time. It's just how long. If we switch to sleet a little bit quicker, you're going to lower the freezing rain ice totals, and then you're going to start playing with, okay, how long does the sleet stick around in snow? I want to show you the snowfall forecast map here, okay? And we're going to get more specific. We're going to break this down even more for you. But I want you to notice the huge cutoffs here. So you're going to see here, and what I'll do is I'll take it full screen just for a moment, but I want to point things out here. So here we go. There it is, full screen, so you can kind of see it a little bit better on your devices, okay? And then I'm going to come back here on screen because I want to really kind of point out some things. Notice I've got some areas down here near I-70 where you may not get hardly anything at all because you're going to be in more of that rain and maybe you catch a little bit of sleet. You work your way a little bit closer to I-74 and I-72, and then we get into this kind of 2 to 4 inch range. So you're talking, southern Vermilion County, southern Champaign County, southern Piatt, southern Macon, portions of Christian County. You may get to that 2 to 4 inch range. Now, some of that could be in the form of some sleet mixed in there as well. But if we stay snow a little bit longer, that snow kind of switchover occurs a little bit quicker in, say, northwestern Champaign County, northwestern Vermilion County, northwestern Piatt, into portions of DeWitt County. You guys may have some slightly higher amounts and north of that as well. And so there is a 3 to 6 inch range that I've got in there. Now, some of the models are spitting out higher amounts, 11, 12 inches of snow. We're discounting that. We're kind of throwing that out the window there because I do think that sleet and freezing rain does play a factor here. But it's not out of the question that, hey, a 6-inch amount, again, look at the ranges. Look at this range I've got here. It's 4 to 8. That doesn't mean 8 inches of snow is going to occur in Bloomington and Watseka and Pontiac and Lincoln. It could mean 4 inches of snow occurs there. It's a range. There's a lot of variability there with this. So look at the range, 4 to 8. Look at the range, 3 to 6 in Champaign County. But look at Champaign County specifically. I want to zoom down in on this. What we're going to do is take you just kind of closer to Champaign County. And I want you to notice, if you look at the colors here that we've got, as I tried to paint this, you could have a range of that 4 to 8 inch range in say, Fisher, okay? And then you go down to the Bradlands area in southeastern Champaign County, and there may be like a 6-inch difference there from northwest to southeast, just in Champaign County. That is what I want to stress to all of you. Think about this. Okay, what if you moved just, 15 or 20 miles? Okay? What if you moved just 15 or 20 miles here? So you're looking at, 20 miles there across, portions of Champaign County, okay? So if anything shifts there just 20 miles, you could have some big differences from northwest to southeast. So you have to keep that in mind. What if this shifts a little bit that way? Sydney, maybe now you're in the 1-inch range. Champaign, maybe you're in more the 2 to 4-inch range. But what if happens if it shifts a little bit to the south by 20 miles? You're not talking much. It doesn't take much. And then you could be into those higher amounts. Basically what I'm trying to say is that you know what this is like. You know what winter storms are like in central Illinois. They can throw you a curveball. They can shift. And a lot of times we talk about shifts of maybe 50 to 100 miles. But in this case, a shift of 20 miles will make a gigantic difference if you would get, let's say, just on the higher end, if an 8-inch amount would show up or a 1-inch amount would show up. And you can literally have that across just Champaign County. And you could probably say that for the same in, Piatt County here. The northern portion, you got a better chance of seeing some higher amounts. And then down towards, Atwood. The same thing maybe over into Vermilion County, up near Hoopeston, maybe a higher amount than what you're going to have down near Slidell and Georgetown. So this will shift. It could shift. This is, as of right now, before the snow even starts to fly, before the rain even changes to freezing rain and sleet and snow, this is my best educated scientific guess. And that's what it is. It's a guess, it's a forecast of how this may play out. So, how do we go about this here? Well, we just kind of have to stay weather aware. That's the key thing. I want to talk about this though, because this storm here could have some other impacts for a brief period of time, but high impacts while it's occurring. So take a look at this here, okay? First off, tonight, the flooding concern. 2.5 inches of rain are possible. Melting snow, runoff, that becomes an issue. When you wake up in the morning and you're going to go out the door at 7 a.m., you're not going to see a single bit of snow, and many of you won't even see any ice at all, okay? All is going to be good. The roads are going to be fine. You drive out, you're going to be good. But in the following hours, things go downhill rapidly. And when that precipitation changes over to snow, the snowfall rates could be really impressive, upwards of 1 to 2 inches of snow per hour. Let's do the math again. If you can get just 4 hours of that, just at 1 inch per hour, there's your 4 inches in just 4 hours. If you get 1.5 inches, now you're talking, 6. If you get 2 inches an hour at 4 hours, now you got 8 inches. So that's why we might be able to meet and get to some of these numbers if that realization does occur. Will not rule out blizzard conditions. The problem is we will have winds tomorrow 35 and 40 miles per hour. And if you can get that for 3 hours and visibility is dipped down to 1/4 mile there, and you're talking about possible blizzard conditions. And the National Weather Service in Lincoln talked about this in what's called their area forecast discussion. They mentioned, hey, if we get 35-mile-an-hour winds and you get the blowing and drifting of snow, and could there be a period of that? I liken this to almost the last system when there was about a 2 or 3 hour window where, boy, it was really bad driving. It was like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on that last system on that second day, I think it was, and it was really, really coming down. So that could become an issue. Precipitation is going to end by late into tomorrow night. And like I said, that's the only kind of nice thing is it's in and it's out of here. It's about a 12-hour system, to be honest. as far as, where wintry precipitation could occur. And I think the first quarter of that, and we can break this down into different quarters, like a basketball game. And I think the first quarter is going to be mainly a lot of rain. The second quarter, you're going to get that freezing rain and sleet. And that third quarter is kind of the one that's up in the air. How long do we stay in some of that sleet before switching over to snow? So the third quarter, most important here as to how things are going to play out, so to speak. And then by the fourth quarter, you're talking all snow here, and then things kind of wrap up there. Let's hope we don't go into overtime, right? Overtime would actually possibly be Friday when it gets really cold, because we are forecasting low temperatures to get down to below freezing. Okay, I hope a lot of that made some sense here to everybody to kind of break down what we are expecting. I want to say one more thing here, and that is going to this website. Hey, it's WCIA.com. And if you go there, you're going to see our little article that we've got. And I'm just going to kind of scroll over here. So there it is. It's our Weather Now article, but we're soon also going to have our blog, okay, what we call our blog, that is going to be updated live throughout the next 24 hours and just kind of like hourly updates. And this is a good read if you want to get into a lot of more of the specifics. A lot of stuff I kind of went through here, but if you prefer to kind of read about it, you can check it out here again at our website, WCA.com, on our weather page there. So I encourage you to check that out. Otherwise, I'll just kind of throw up the 7-day here for just real quick. And then we'll go to some of your questions that you may have. Notice the cold air here. It gets really cold Friday. Wind chill values could be down near below 0. So it gets really chilly for us there as we head into early on Friday. I hope everybody did enjoy this little update that we were able to give to you. More than anything, travel tomorrow could be impacted greatly between, say, 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. That's kind of the heart of the storm there. And if I even wanted to fine-tune it even more, I would say between noon and 4 p.m., look out. It'll be coming down there quite a bit. Okay, so let's take a look here. I've got your comments that are going to be popping up here, and we'll read some of those and just kind of chat about what to expect here. Maybe try to answer some of your questions when it comes to our winter storm. So let's see here. All right, is somebody already given some grief in the chat? It's all good. Thick skin, I can take it. So here we go. Let's see. Are we going to have any power outages? Paul, I don't foresee any. It's definitely possible, especially if you get just the right amount of tree, the right amount of wind, you could definitely get a limb to fall on that power line, and it could be an issue. But as far as like widespread power outages, I don't think we're going to get enough ice for that. But we will definitely get some freezing rain, and there's going to be a coating. You're going to see on the trees, you'll see on the power lines, you're going to see on your grill and your deck, on your little potted plants or something. There's going to be a little ice that may be hanging off of it there. Chad wants to know, what do you see for Mattoon? And for Mattoon, we are talking about, you're kind of on that edge there to where you may not get as much in the way of snow, but you could get some of that ice. So the ice down into Coles County could be a little bit more down that way. Let's see here. Livingston County, before lunch, okay. You're getting, I would say you're probably going to start to get into some of that freezing rain and sleet by lunchtime in Livingston County. Let's see here. Sounds like a good day to stay home, says Candace. Probably not bad if you have the opportunity to. What about Champaign, Illinois? So again, Champaign, we're kind of on that line again, as I mentioned, which was a highlight of this video, which I encourage you to go back and watch if you weren't here for it. There could be a huge difference in Champaign County between 1 and 6 inches. So yeah. Let's see here. Just reading some of your questions. If we get more snow, will it be gone by Friday? I think I saw something about Friday. So the snow's not going anywhere on Friday. Now, it may go and melt away quite a bit this weekend when it warms up, but it's not going to go away immediately. I will say this too. I get a lot of people that ask me the question, hey, should I drive? Can I get out and drive in this? Is it possible? And here's what I say. I can't answer that for you. I can't. I mean, you have to take your own self-responsibility and kind of take into the risk. Everything is a risk we do in life, right? And so risk management here, is it worth the risk? I understand some people have to get out. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Some people have to. They have no choice. If you have a choice and you can stay home, of course, do it. Risk management here. If it's not worth the risk, then obviously don't do it. Because here's the thing. I can't sit here and tell you, hey, you absolutely 100% should not go out. When we go out in the storm, and we do that because of several reasons. We feel like the impact is high enough for us to go out, say in the storm tracker, show off the roads, pass along that information to thousands of viewers. Now, a lot of people, they'll say to us, hey, why are you guys out there? You're telling us to stay home. Well, we're advising you to stay home. I wouldn't say absolutely stay home ever, because everybody's got different things going on. We think that it outweighs the bad when we're out there, because we're at least able to pass along the information, show the roads, show people what's going on, and then maybe that helps them make a decision that will help them better understand the dynamics that are in place with the given system. So I can't answer if you should go out and drive in this or not. Listen, if I didn't have to work and I was able to just stay at home and I didn't have to get out in this, I would absolutely stay home, especially in the afternoon tomorrow, because that's when it's going to be the worst. So that's kind of how I'd like to answer that for you. Okay. Bum. Nick says models are shifting south. They shifted a little bit south from what we had last night, and they definitely switched over to the sleet and snow quicker than what we had. Johnny wants to sell his dog. Whatever you want to do, Johnny. Hello, Amy, over in Vetersburg. Shout out Vetersburg out there. And Joe wants to know if you should lick flagpoles. To each his own there, Joe. All right, what's in store from Macoupin County? Again, you guys are going to be kind of on that southern end of things, maybe more sleet down there, maybe a little bit more in the way of some of the ice. Effingham, Illinois, you think you get a lot of rain? You can see that 2.5 inches of rain down there. That could really be a big issue. Trina wants to know if we're still in a snow drought. If we get our forecast of, say, 3 to 6 inches of snow in Champaign, we would be back to about average for the season. So if we get that, that's where we're going to be. How does Friday look? Friday looks to be just cold, really, really, really cold out there. Kayla wants to know, could you possibly say how much rain Tool might get? I'll give you a range. 3 to 6 inches of snow is possible there. Low wind, that means 3 inches. You may only get 3 inches of snow. But yeah, you could get a little bit higher. Joyce, you're welcome. Keeping you informed, no problem. Kathy, you are welcome. Karen, you are welcome. How will travel be on Friday? Tanya, that's also another tough one, because while the precipitation will not be falling anymore on Friday, it's going to be 5 degrees. So everything's going to be frozen over. Everything is going to be, just kind of a mess out there. So while a lot of the interstates, hopefully they're going to be able to get out there, take care of them, there's going to still be a lot of those side roads and whatnot that are going to be impacted. Denise, you're welcome. All right. River flooding in the Watseka area. Yeah, I definitely could see that, because we're going to get so much there. Will we lose power? There's about 27 different factors that come into play as to whether or not somebody will lose power or not. The chances are low, but they're not zero, because if, again, the perfect wind gust comes across your tree limb that sits over a power line that gets 0.2 of an inch of ice on it, and just enough of it is weak enough that that limb falls on your power line, guess what? You're without power. Hard to say exactly, but am I expecting widespread power outages? The answer to that is no. Alicia, thank you for tuning in. Heading to Champaign at 8:30 tomorrow. Good to go. Darren, you're good to drive into Champaign at 8:30. you will not be good to drive anywhere else after that, pretty much, is what you'll be running into freezing rain and sleet after that for sure. When will the ice come to Danville? The ice in Danville, I mean, you're probably looking at, somewhere in that 9 a.m. to noon time frame, kind of the transition. Will schools close early tomorrow? Allison, I do think that some schools will close early. I will say this, too. It was such a tough call for school administrators because I know that a lot of them, I don't want to say that they don't always believe the forecast, but they tend to sometimes kind of err on the side of, well, especially if they wake up in the morning, because what they do is they go out, they drive the streets. I know superintendents, they go out, they drive the roads, they drive the streets, and they say, hey, they're good, we're okay. They also obviously take into an account what may happen later in the day. It's a tough call when there's nothing on the ground, and that's going to be the case. At 6, 7 a.m., you're not going to have anything on the ground but a bunch of wet streets, okay? So I understand how that may lead some to go, we're going to have school, we're going to play it by ear, see when things start to switch over, and then send the kids home. So I do think that will occur. It's going to be as bad as the last storm in terms of the interstates. Champaign from Paxton. So, yeah, Delinda, here's the thing. I think that we're definitely going to see, a period of time where it's going to be bad. And that could be between, say, I really think kind of noon to 4 p.m. There's going to be so much happening and at very intense rates that, yeah, you could have some very tough travel on area interstates, and like semis, may encounter that and have issues and whatnot. So yeah. Muhammad announced e-learning day for tomorrow. So there you go. Way to go, Muhammad. Will it really be 60 on Monday? I'm not quite going with 60 on Monday, but it's going to be warm. Nikki, thank you from Armstrong. Shout out Armstrong. Shout out Nikki. Appreciate it. Lovington to Mattoon tomorrow. You're late morning, you're probably still going to be in some rain, but you're going to switch over to some sleet and freezing rain there. And that could get slick because I think you're going to be in more, maybe some of that freezing rain. Doug wants to see the storm tracker and Homer. Make it happen. We will see what we can do. Okay, so we are going on about 28 and a half minutes here of our live stream. Coming up at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock, the Illini game almost over. Looks like the Illini are going to lose to Rutgers. Woof! Rutgers. Tough team there, though. I encourage all of you guys to please share this Facebook stream. Some of your friends and family probably didn't get a chance to see it. Obviously, we covered a lot of information in this, and you can share that on your page or post it to them or send it to them because, listen, I try to answer as many questions as I can. These systems are dynamic. They change a lot, and they could change by tomorrow morning. But travel could be difficult tomorrow morning. So passing along that information to everybody will be very, very good. Take a couple more questions before we wrap things up. If I go to Champaign from Rantoul at 9 a.m., will it be icy when I come back to Rantoul about 9:30 a.m.? 9 a.m. Let's look at some new model. And I got new model data that's going to be coming in here before too long. So at 9 a.m., we're literally just going to be starting to see the freezing rain and sleet. So that's kind of the cutoff there because that's 9 a.m. and notice the purple is already starting to come in at that time. 5 p.m., I bet it's probably still snowing in a few spots out there. Yeah, so Kayla, probably still going to be snowing, or going to have the freezing rain starting there at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, guys. Again, thanks for everybody for your tuned in here. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of a break. We're going to look at some new model data here that's going to be coming up soon. grab a little bite to eat here for my dinner break. I will tell you this as well. The entire weather team is going to be in here tomorrow to come up with, just how all of this is going to play out and bring in the coverage that we can. In the morning, Amelia and Jack will be in here with the very latest, with any updates, snowfall totals, anything that's adjusted, ice amounts, all of that. By noon, you'll have all four of us in here, including myself and Jacob, Amelia, and Jack, as we will be in the heart of the storm there. And then I'll be back at 5 and 6 o'clock as the storm is starting to kind of wrap up, and we'll be dealing with some of the impacts that are out there. Again, thanks to everybody for stopping by here. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. We do this to try to help everybody out as much as we can, pass along that information to the best of our abilities to try to figure out just how this will play out. Now, again, before I go, I will stress one more thing. I'm going to just kill the chats here for a second. But again, I want to say thank you to everybody. But as I look at this map, once again, I stress to you, please, please, please keep in mind there could be a huge range in just one county, like Champaign County. If I had to throw out my best guess, I think that Champaign, you're probably going to be on that lower end, 3 inches of snow. Okay. If I'm talking up around Fisher, Rantoul, maybe you're able to get up to that, 5-inch amount up there with the less amounts. So again, maybe an inch in southeastern Champaign County. So there could be a huge difference. And you got to understand, if this shifts 20 miles, it could go either way. So you just kind of have to watch, and you can watch from home. How quick does the sleet, does the freezing rain change the sleet to change to snow? If you get the more rapid transition, if it changes quicker, you're going to have higher snowfall totals. If you get out of the sleet, because that's the order of that things will go. It'll go rain. It'll go freezing rain for maybe a brief period of time, maybe a longer period of sleet, and then to snow. But how long is that period of sleet will determine how much snow you will get when it's all said and done. Okay, so that's kind of how to break it out. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by again. Appreciate you. I'll be on at 9 o'clock, WCIX, with another update, and at 10 p.m. with new model data. That's the cool thing, is we get this new model data that comes in right before the 10 o'clock newscast. So if anything would shift and change, then I'm able to make those adjustments there. So could this map change by the time you tune in at 10 o'clock? It's possible, because as new data comes in, we'll reevaluate things and just kind of see if things are lining up a little bit different, or just kind of how things are going. So again, tune back in as maybe we see a slight adjustment to all of that. Okay, guys, thanks again for joining me. I'm WCA3 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty on this Wednesday night before our next winter storm. We'll have more tonight on the newscast, more online and on the app. Join us then, and until then, stay safe.